All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is Friday, October 21st, 2016. I'm your host, Josh Reeves. Thank you so much for being here with us for another edition of the broadcast. This is the Global Reality, broadcasting here from Global Reality Radio at theglobalreality.com. Thank you very much. We've got some news and various stuff to talk about with you here today. Again, bear with me. I'm, currently having some dental issues, so I'm getting myself, propped up enough to get up here and do the shows. So that if I seem off or my speech is a little weird and stuff, bear with me. It just has to do with that. I got a very interesting opportunity today. More than interesting, it's amazing. It's something I've been trying to I can't really give it away. All I can say is that I have an opportunity on Sunday, this coming Sunday, and that day alone, if I miss my window, I may not get another one. I've got an opportunity to go shoot footage and get pictures and stuff of something I've been trying to get footage of and pictures and stuff of for a very long time. Now, I will tell you right off the top, just so you don't get any false hope or anything, it's not the rock wall. It's not that. I've seen parts of that, and I have pieces of it, and I've seen stones and stuff from that. This is something I've actually been trying to get access to for a long time, and they don't allow access to it. And I've got a window coming up on Sunday, or an opportunity just fell in my lap today, literally, to go get footage and whatnot. So my plan is to do this, is to get, because I'll literally be the first person. I mean, there are photos and there are some things available online of this thing, but nothing comprehensive and nothing that really shows the stuff that I want to see and the stuff that you want to see. Anyway, this is just an ultra rare opportunity, and I've got to be able to capitalize on this. But, as usual, the problem is, funds. That's the main thing. So I calculate how much it'll cost me to do this, because I've got to pay a couple of people to help me out. But we need $80 budget is what we need. I mean, it's nothing. And then the footage and the pictures will be all edited together in a mini film that I'll put out there for free, because it'll literally be the first videos and pictures, comprehensively it's ever been put out of this thing. It's certainly the first thing on YouTube. And anyway, I don't want to give away what it is. Can't tell you what it is. If you contribute the money and then you email me and you want to know what it is after you contribute, well then, yeah, I'll let you in on what it is. But anyway, the ultra rare opportunity, and if I miss the window, there, from what I understand, isn't going to be another window. Anyway, it's crazy. It's mind blowing. Basically, I've got to have, just money for gas, money for to pay the crew. And you're going to have to have help running cameras. I'm going to have, I can't do all the camera work on this myself, and it's best if I don't anyway, because we get way better results if I get multiple people shooting. And then we need a SD card for our camera and another tripod for another camera. So we have one tripod we have now is like, you don't want, I take it out when we go on the road and stuff. This is not a tripod you want to be lugging around. It's a big, heavy duty. I mean, it's great. I love it. I mean, it's fantastic, but it's not one you want to be taking out on something like this. But anyway, $80 is what we need. If one person can contribute all that, I'll give you, give you whatever credit you want in the film for it or whatnot. If you want a fake name, you know, Pat McCrotch or Holden McGroin or whatever, Holden Caulfield. Dick Slap 69 at 420.com. You know, whatever name you choose, I'll put in there for you. But anyway, it really is a crazy opportunity, and I think it's going to, well, I know it's going to yield some very interesting stuff that nobody's ever seen before. And with my expertise and knowledge on this particular subject, I'm totally ecstatic because it ties in with some stuff I've covered in some previous films, but I'm going to make this little mini film on this. You know, that's really all I can tell you. But anyway, I mean, 4 people donate $20. Hey, so everybody just, you know, hey, if you've got $20, go to the donate button in my website, theglobalreality.com. You can use a credit card, debit card there. If you want to use PayPal, you can do it. One of the other banners we have there at the website or whatnot. But, and I'll figure out something. I mean, if you want a couple of downloads for free from the download shop, if you contribute or something, I can do that too. Anyway, please help us if you can. I know we've got our operating cost budget stuff coming up in the next week and a half or so, but this is really an opportunity to be able to shoot something. I'm totally stoked about this. I can't tell you how long I've been trying to get picture. I first started trying to get access to this site back in 2006 with one of my very first little rinky-dink digital video cameras that I ever got. And they were going to give me access. Back then, I talked to somebody, and the person, whoever I talked to, I guess wasn't in the high up in the chain of command or whatever, and they said, "Oh yeah, sure, you know, come on down, no problem." And then when I got there on the day, nobody showed up. They stiffed me. They basically were like, they found out I was a documentary maker, and they were like, "No, we're going to pass on that one." So I tried many times after that, no avail. So it's a very, very interesting opportunity. All right, let's see what news we have here. Got a lot that's piled up, so I'm going to do my best to get through all this for you in this broadcast. Again, theglobalreality.com is my website. It's theglobalreality.com. Be sure and get yourself a membership if you're listening to this show. This show won't be up in its entirety on YouTube. Some of it will, but not all of it. That's how we're going to do. We're going to have some full shows, and the rest will be partial shows on YouTube. If you want to get the shows as they are recorded, and I mean within seconds of being recorded and they're uploaded, so if you want to stay current with all the shows and you also want to get additional video content, I haven't been doing any video stuff this week. Honestly, I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like shit, and I don't feel very fucking camera friendly right now. So I know I promised more videos and stuff like that. They will be coming. But right now, I mean, number one, I don't even like being on fucking camera anyway. I just do it because people like it and it's entertaining and it's a cool other element. So I do it. But I'm not somebody who particularly likes seeing himself on camera or being on camera anyway. But, you know, it's whatever. I can deal with it. It's fine. I can get over that. But I'm calling an audible right now just because I feel like shit and I'm in constant pain, and I'd probably, you know, look worse than I do on my best day anyway, which isn't good. So we will have additional video content that will only be available there, and there is some up there now in the archive section. Get yourself a membership, $10 a month, and it gets cheaper the longer you buy, you know, $80 for a year, whatever else. And also hit our download shop. Lots of downloads in there. Lots of great stuff. All my films are in there. Lost Secrets of Ancient America, Volume 1, Volume 2. The Secret Rite, Volume 1 and Volume 2. Spellcasters, Volume 1, my newest film, is in there. We're also having a fundraiser right now for Spellcasters Volume 2, we have an $1,800 budget. We've raised about $225 so far. If we can get this thing funded in the next 15 days, we can get it out before the end of the year or so. Pick one, pick a fundraiser and contribute something to it. Anything, whatever you can. What we really need is somebody who can come in with a big amount. We haven't had a big amount come in, and it's been a couple of years, man. We get little small amounts, but we really need somebody out there that can really make a difference in our work and come forward and make a contribution that can give us a war chest to operate on. Because I've got 3 films in the bag. I've got a new studio. I've got the ability to do all this video stuff. We've got everything in place to take this to a level that's a bit unforeseen. The only thing we don't have is operating capital and stuff to be able to keep all this stuff going. And barely scraping by every month is never going to allow us to be able to get to the level we need to be at. So, I'm asking contributors and people out there who have the ability to support us, $500, $1,000, whatever you can do. Something where we, can help us build a war chest and help us get this thing pumping up to another level, so we're not just constantly barely making it, not knowing from month to month if we're going to make it or not. That's the big problem. So, and that really does hinder our ability to be able to do what we need to do, because we've got Spellcasters Volume 2 ready to be made. We just need the budget for that. And we can get that out by the end of the year. Then on the docket for next year, we've got Lost Secrets of Ancient America Volume 3 and Anunnaki the movie, which is going to be a huge production, and I'm hoping to have some real serious help on that film. But we've just got to make it to that, But I've got a guy that's going to come in on that film, hopefully in a big way. It's going to help. So, but we have to have operating capital to be able to do all these things. And the last 2 films I've made, I've sunk everything into, and then we don't even make 5% of what we sunk into it back. So all that, in order for that to change, again, you have to have money for stuff like advertising and paying for banner ads of your movie on people's website. We always have enough money to get these films out, but then there's no money left to promote them or pay to get them on places like iTunes and stuff like that. All that stuff costs money, and that's the kind of thing we need help with. So, people out there who can make big contributions, please come forward and make a big contribution so you can help our work and help us be able to do all the big, huge things we have to do and be a part of that. Because you could sit back and you can sit on the sidelines and you can listen to this stuff and be a passive participant, or you can contribute to my work and be actively participating in it. Because when you contribute to my work and it allows that work to be created and be made, you by proxy have just become an active participant in it. So when I do big things, and big things I'm able to do from your contributions, you helped make that happen. Literally, it would not have happened without the contribution that you made. So that's how you get to actively see that. And the people who have, in the past, who contributed to films like Lost Secrets, and to see what those became and the impact they've had in the Secret Ride films, and now the Spellcasters, people have, written me long emails, people that have contributed and just been almost without words, just, blown away because of the feeling that they get and the reciprocation that they feel from knowing that when they, made a donation to this film, and then they see their name in the credits, they see the work that I did and understand that I'm just one person doing all of this with no help and nothing, I don't have a team of researchers and a production crew. Everything is done by me. And, they really feel that. So I want other people out there who haven't had that participation, that feeling to know what that's like. So, just help us out and help us be able to see the potential. That there's so much potential in what we have to do here, but it's just limited by the financial resources we have to draw on, which is generally 0 to none. So bear that in mind, and those of you out there who've never contributed, and look, I know we've got some people out there in the listening audience that could help us out in a big way. So just do it for once. You'll feel good from it, I assure you. All right, let's see what news we have here to cover. Yeah, bear with me here. I got to get to the top of this stack, which is grown massive. Come on, there it is. All right, Salt's secret success in ancient Chaco Canyon. I went there for my film Lost Secrets of Ancient America Volume 2. Despite long-held assumptions, UC researchers find the diversity of salt in water and soil beneficial, not harmful for cultivating maize in ancient New Mexico. They always try to come up with some. It's that place is such an anomaly. And, some of these wood beams that were hauled in from places, way far away. The fact of the matter is they are always trying to come up with some new explanation, some new narrative for Chaco Canyon. I mean, they never explain why the fuck this place, all the doors are so tiny in this place. Like little alien gray-sized doors, and they never explain that. Very, very odd. I've never seen it in another ancient site, but these, all the doors, every one of the doors in all the ancient sites at Chaco Canyon are all tiny. Like toddler size, man. I've said this before, and it makes people uncomfortable every time I say it, but I'm going to say it again. I think we've all been looking and are all quite okay and comfortable with the idea of giants in the ancient past, but I think a lot fewer people are comfortable with accepting the idea of very tiny and small people in the ancient past. And I'm here to tell you, I think there's evidence to support it. But every time I bring it up, somebody gets freaked. A team of University of Cincinnati researchers had to go deep to uncover brand new knowledge that they say will, quote, shake up the archaeological field in the southwestern United States. Various salt compounds found deep in the soil of New Mexico's desert may be the key to understanding how crops are cultivated in ancient Chaco Canyon, despite the backdrop of what seems like an otherwise arid and desolate landscape, according to a University of Cincinnati study. Prior studies on the canyon's environment suggest the water management techniques used by the ancestral Puebloans during periods of drought eventually resulted in toxic levels of salinity in the water. This left scientists doubting any viability of the soil for growing corn, which they believe eventually led to the abandonment of the Chaco culture. No, again, that's always their narrative. Oh, well, they ran out of the ability to grow, so that's why they left. Well, here's the thing. There's actually no evidence that anybody ever grew a goddamn thing out there. I mean, they call people like me and others, conspiracy theorists. And I'm telling you, folks, sometimes these scientists, even though they do it with a accreditation of a university and all this stuff, I mean, they're just as big of theorists. They just don't tack the word conspiracy on there, but that's what it is. Again, I went to Chaco Canyon. Here's the thing. There's no evidence of any burials there. For a city that was supposedly inhabited for as long as it was by that many people, you would have had burial sites. There's no burials there. There has been artifacts found from every known religion in the world at this site. They've actually found an ancient road that comes up from South America that leads right directly to Chaco Canyon. This was a pilgrimage site. It was something happened here, an arrival or something, and people traveled from all over. Probably some ended up staying for periods of time, but what did they eat? Why aren't there any burial sites anywhere around this place? It's those kind of questions that the scientific community doesn't want to address, but they want to drag out something. Well, no, we think maybe they probably did have the salt in the water probably didn't kill them after all, like we've told you all these years in academic studies. Now we think it probably did help them grow corn. No, it did help them grow. See, because they've got to reinforce that narrative that they were sustaining a civilization there in the exact ways, textbook type of ways that we think of in supporting any sort of habitation, farming, agriculture, commerce, living places. But that's again the lack of evidence of that at the Chaco Canyon site is what keeps this stuff going. They just feel like, oh, if we just keep digging, we just keep researching, we'll find some comfortable narrative. That's what they're trying to do. Because the place is just a massive anomaly, the whole thing. All around it are all of these, all in Chaco Canyon, you've got all the sites as well, but all the rock hangings all around it are all littered with Stargate symbols. It was a portal. The reason you're not finding evidence of people being buried there is because people were only going there for a short period of time. They were probably bringing food with them, and they were leaving, going somewhere else. They were going through wherever this portal was. But again, the scientific community is not going to address that, so they'd rather spend millions of dollars and send the University of Cincinnati out there to try and disprove their own narrative and spin it another way. They're the ones that have been telling us for years and years that, oh, well, the reason why they left that place is because the water was too salty and they couldn't grow anything, and so everybody left. Now they're spinning that and saying, no, actually, we think the salty water probably helped them did grow stuff. Again, even though there's never been evidence they grew anything there, but they've got to try and reinforce the idea that, well, we've got to explain this to people. People have to be able to have a reason to understand why there could have been people out here in the middle of God fuck nowhere. Even back then, it was fuck nowhere. Now it's even, Chaco Canyon is in the middle of nowhere. Let me put it to you like this. You drive 2.5 hours out to the middle of nowhere, right? From like Albuquerque. You drive like 2.5 hours out of Albuquerque to the middle of nowhere, and then like you get to the middle of nowhere, and you're like, cool, we're here, we're in the middle of nowhere. Oh, no, son. Oh, no, then you've got I remember how many miles it is, 8-mile drive down this graded rock road that you can only go like 15 miles an hour, and it shakes your fucking car like a Mexican space shuttle. And if you don't have the proper vehicle, they don't tell you this on any of the sites or anything. If you don't have a proper vehicle, you can go out there and you can get fucked like Chuck, stuck out, and there's nobody going to come and get your ass. We were in a rental van, and we killed it. We absolutely destroyed the motherfucker. We had to trade it. We got stuck with a flat tire out at Lovelock Cave. We had to trade it in and get the first time the only time that's ever happened to me on a road trip where we literally wore the car we started out with out. We wore it out. We had to start all over again and get a completely new rental van. And it was strictly from that trip to Chaco Canyon. But it's fascinating, man. This stuff, people just have no idea how much money is put into covering this stuff up. Millions of dollars. And we have the ability with the films like Lost Secrets of Ancient America to expose this stuff for $3,000. They're spending hundreds of millions of dollars, ladies and gentlemen, every day to cover up the truth about science like Chaco Canyons and others in this country. Long forgotten research unearths new mystery about Lyme disease. The tick hunter was hopeful he had found the cause of the disabling illness, recently named Lyme disease, that was spreading anxiety through leafy communities east of New York City. At a government lab in Montana, Willie Bergdorfer typed a letter to a colleague reporting that blood from Lyme patients showed very strong reactions on a test for an obscure tick-borne bacterium he called the Swiss agent. But further studies raised doubts about whether he had the right culprit, and 18 months later, in 1981, Bergdorfer instead pinned Lyme on another microbe. The Swiss agent test results were forgotten. Now, Stat has obtained those documents, including some discovered in boxes of Bergdorfer's personal papers found in his garage after his death in 2014. The papers, including letters to collaborators, lab records, and blood test results, indicate that the Swiss agent was infecting people in Connecticut and Long Island in the late 1970s. And scientists who worked for Bergdorfer and reviewed key portions of the documents at Stat's request said the bacteria might still be sickening an unknown amount of Americans today. While the evidence is hardly conclusive, patients and doctors might be mistakenly under the radar mistake Swiss agent infections for Lyme, the infectious disease specialist said, or the bacteria. Well, I can just tell you right there, the reason there's confusion is because Lyme disease is a bioweapon. And I think what it was is this Swiss agent was the original. Lyme disease was like a naturally occurring thing, and I think the Swiss agent was like their hopped up version on it. And they now call it Lyme disease when actually Lyme disease was this other thing. They just swapped the name on it and started calling this thing they created in a laboratory, and that is accurate. That's where they released it at. It was the bioweapons facility started releasing it on the East Coast in the late 70s, Connecticut, Long Island, New Jersey. But I mean, it absolutely is a bioweapon. And it's crazy. You know, you hear it's spread so much now, and people are getting Lyme disease that have never even been bit by ticks. When it predominantly we've always been told that the only way you can get Lyme disease is from a tick bite, and it's predominantly a tick-borne virus. But that's the old original Lyme disease. And now what people are getting that has similar symptoms is this weaponized version of it, and that's why it's spreading person to person now. But yet there's still a perception and belief from people that, oh, well, if I have Lyme disease, I must have got bitten by a tick and I didn't know it. I got lots of emails yesterday. I don't know why I got so many emails just for covering that death of that guy. You know, people going, oh, I heard of him, that Max Spears guy or whatever his name was. Well, good for you if you heard of him. I think it's actually better for me that I didn't hear from him. I think it's, people go, oh, I've heard of this guy. I heard of him. Oh, yeah, I'm aware of him. Yeah. Can't believe you never heard of him. Well, if I didn't hear of him, it's a good thing. Because you know why? Let me tell you why. Because that means I'm not paying attention to the fucking ass clowns I shouldn't be paying attention to. That's what that means. So, yes, I question those of you that wholeheartedly knew all about him. And really? Well, why are you paying attention to that? And then you want to tell me about what an ass clown he is. And I'm sitting there going, well, you know everything about him, and then why are you paying attention to him if he's an ass clown? That's my point. I didn't know who he is, so I don't pay attention to people like that. But there has been another development in the story with what I mentioned yesterday. And I mentioned, how it was possible he may have been investigating something that got too close to the Scientology-connected individuals in Project Camelot. Now it's come out that he was investigating the Presidio in San Francisco. This is stuff I covered. Remember I told you yesterday it may have had something to do with stuff relating to my work. Like maybe you may have heard some of my work and looked into it. Well, I think we got further confirmation with that now, saying that he was in, like, it was all about, there's an article about it. I have to find it. I don't have it in front of me. But I saw it posted today. Michael Aquino and the whole black magic stuff and all that stuff, like I covered in Secret Right Volume 2 and now in Spellcasters. Now it's come out today that he was supposedly, but that just doesn't make sense. That information's been out there for a long time. Somebody else said he was a drug addict and all this stuff. Well, maybe so, but it still doesn't change the fact that my first initial thing and reaction from looking at this was, maybe somebody at Camelot narked him out to the CMP Scientologist types. And then it comes out that he was looking into the whole Presidio child molestation thing that Michael Aquino was attached to, and it had something to do with that and black magic. And I mean, that's right in my wheelhouse. I mean, I put that, I've not been put in a film before Secret Right Volume 2 in 2011. So again, I don't think my estimation, even though some of you out there have argued with me in the emails you sent me that I was right about what I was saying yesterday, but there it is. Of course, it could all be fake, and this guy could be a plant, and they're just doing this to scare people from looking into my research and my organ. I don't know. Something's weird with it, but it just seems odd to me because that information's been out there for years. It's not like he was cracking the fucking Da Vinci Code on some new info. I mean, I was talking about that years and years ago. So something weird is going on with this, but I'm still going with my original gut feeling that somebody connected with Project Camelot was informing somebody else of what he was working on and doing because he had close contact with those people. So